Imagine a mysterious civilization lost to time, but leaving behind a puzzle that still intrigues us today. This civilization, shrouded in enigma, has fascinated historians and archaeologists for centuries. Their artifacts, scattered across ancient ruins, whisper secrets of a bygone era. These were the Etruscans, a sophisticated and lively group of people who lived in ancient Italy. They were known for their vibrant culture, advanced engineering, and unique art forms that set them apart from other ancient civilizations. Their home, called Etruria, covered an area that today includes Tuscany, western Umbria, and northern Lazio. This region was rich in resources, providing the Etruscans with the means to build a thriving society. They thrived between the 8th and 3rd centuries BCE, before the Roman Empire became powerful. During this time, they developed a complex society with a strong emphasis on religion, trade, and governance. The Etruscans were different from their neighbors. Their art, pottery, and sculptures were distinct, reflecting their unique worldview and cultural practices. Their language was unlike any other spoken around them. Despite numerous attempts, much of their script remains undeciphered, adding to the mystery of their origins and culture. Where they came from is still a mystery. Some theories suggest they were indigenous to the region, while others propose they migrated from distant lands. Some experts think they were native to Italy, while others believe they traveled from Anatolia or the Aegean Sea. This debate continues to spark interest and research in the academic community. Wherever they came from, one thing is for sure: they left a lasting mark on ancient Italy. Their influence on Roman architecture, religion, and culture is undeniable, and their legacy continues to be studied and admired to this day. Etruria, the land of the Etruscans, was a place of rolling hills, fertile valleys, and a beautiful coastline. This diverse landscape provided them with plenty of resources. They were skilled farmers, growing grapes, olives, and grains. They were also great metal workers, especially with bronze and iron, which made them wealthy through trade. Etruscan cities were hubs of trade and culture, often built on hilltops for defense. They had unique buildings, including temples, houses, and impressive tombs. A network of roads connected these cities, making trade and communication easy across Etruria. The Etruscans, by mastering their environment and building their cities, created a distinct and successful civilization. Etruscan society was made up of different social classes. At the top were the aristocratic families, who were rich and powerful. They owned lots of land and controlled the government. Below them were the artisans, merchants, and landowners, the everyday people who kept Etruscan society running. At the bottom were the slaves. Slavery was a common part of Etruscan life, like in many ancient cultures. Slaves were often prisoners of war or people who owed money. They did all sorts of jobs, from housework to farm work. Even though there were strict social classes, people could move up by becoming wealthy or doing great things for their community. At first, Etruscan city-states were ruled by kings who had both religious and political power. They led armies, performed religious ceremonies, and made sure the laws were followed. Over time, the kings lost power, and a new type of government formed, an oligarchy, where a small group of elite families held the power. These families often fought for control, causing political unrest. Religion was very important in Etruscan life. They believed in many gods and goddesses who influenced everything. Priests and priestesses were powerful figures who interpreted the will of the gods, helping Etruscan leaders make decisions. Daily life in Etruria was a mix of work, fun, and religious activities. The Etruscans were skilled craftspeople, famous for their metalwork, pottery, and jewellery. Their work was popular all over the Mediterranean. Trade was a big part of their economy. Etruscan merchants travelled far and wide, trading goods like wine, olive oil, and metalwork for fancy things from Greece and the East. The Etruscans knew how to have a good time. They often had banquets and feasts with music, dancing, and sports. They also liked hunting and chariot racing. Religion was part of everything they did. Temples to their gods and goddesses were everywhere. and religious festivals and rituals were held regularly. Etruscan art was a colourful expression of their culture and beliefs. It was influenced by other Mediterranean civilizations, especially the Greeks, but they developed their own special style. One of the most amazing parts of Etruscan art is their tomb paintings. These paintings decorated the walls of tombs and show us what they believed about the afterlife and their daily lives. The paintings are full of bright colours and lively scenes of feasts, dances and stories about their gods. The Etruscans were also masters of metalworking. They made beautiful jewellery, bronze mirrors and sculptures. Their bronze sculptures, often showing gods, goddesses and mythical creatures, were famous for being realistic and skillfully made. Religion was a big part of Etruscan culture. It influenced every aspect of their daily lives, from the way they built their cities to the way they conducted their personal affairs. The Etruscans believed that the gods were always watching and that they needed to be honoured and appeased through various rituals and ceremonies. They believed in many gods and goddesses who controlled every part of their lives. Each deity had a specific role and domain, such as the sky, the earth, the underworld, and even specific human activities like farming and warfare. The Etruscans made sure to pay their respects to all these deities to ensure their favour and protection. Their gods were similar to the Greek and Roman gods, but they also had their own unique ones. While they adopted some deities from their neighbours, they also had a rich pantheon of their own. This blend of influences created a unique religious tapestry that was distinctly Etruscan. Tinia, the god of the sky, was one of the most powerful deities in the Etruscan pantheon. He was often depicted with a thunderbolt, symbolizing his control over the weather and his ability to bring both blessings and destruction from the heavens. Uni, the goddess of fertility, was another key figure. She was revered for her ability to grant fertility to the land, animals, and people. Etruscans would perform elaborate rituals to honor her, hoping to ensure bountiful harvests and healthy offspring. And Velthuna, the god of the underworld, was some of the most important. Velthuna was believed to govern the realm of the dead, and was often invoked in funerary rites to ensure safe passage for the deceased into the afterlife. Divination, or figuring out what the gods wanted, was very important. The Etruscans believed that the gods communicated their will through signs and omens, which could be interpreted by skilled priests and priestesses. Priests and priestesses used different ways to get messages from the gods, such as examining the entrails of sacrificed animals or observing the flight patterns of birds. These practices were considered essential for making important decisions and ensuring the community's well-being, like looking at animal organs or watching birds fly. These methods, known as haruspicy and augury, were highly respected and required years of training to master. Religious rituals and festivals happened often. These events were not only religious in nature, but also served as important social gatherings where the community could come together to celebrate and reaffirm their shared beliefs. These ceremonies were big events with parades, sacrifices, and offerings to please the gods and get their help. The Etruscans believed that by making these offerings, they could gain the favor of the gods and ensure prosperity and protection for their people. As Rome became more powerful, the Etruscan civilization started to fade away. The Etruscans, who once ruled central Italy, now faced a powerful enemy in the growing Roman Republic. Wars between Rome and the Etruscan cities led to their downfall. The Roman army was strong and clever, and they slowly took away Etruscan power. When Rome conquered Veii, a powerful Etruscan city, in 396 BCE, things really changed. This victory gave Rome control of important trade routes and resources. The Etruscans fought hard, but eventually their cities were conquered and became part of the Roman Republic. By the 1st century BCE, Etruria was completely part of the Roman state, and the Etruscans were no longer independent. Even though their civilization ended, the Etruscans left a lasting impact on Roman culture and beyond. Their influence can be seen in various aspects of Roman life, from their architecture to their religious practices. The Etruscans were known for their advanced engineering skills, which the Romans adopted and further developed. This exchange of knowledge and culture helped shape the Roman Empire into what it became. Romans adopted many Etruscan customs, beliefs, and artistic traditions. This cultural assimilation included the Etruscan practice of divination, which involved interpreting the will of the gods through various signs and omens. The Romans also embraced Etruscan art forms, which can be seen in their sculptures, pottery, and frescoes. You can see Etruscan influence in Roman architecture, especially in temples and arches. The Etruscans were master builders, and their techniques were adopted by the Romans to construct some of their most iconic structures. The use of the arch, for example, became a staple in Roman engineering, allowing for the creation of larger and more durable buildings. The Romans also borrowed from Etruscan religion, including ideas about fortune-telling, signs from the gods, and funeral rituals. Etruscan priests, known as haruspices, were highly respected for their ability to read the future by examining the entrails of sacrificed animals. These practices were integrated into Roman religious ceremonies and continued to be used for centuries. The Etruscan legacy goes beyond ancient Rome. Their cultural impact can be seen in various civilizations that followed, influencing art, architecture, and religious practices across the Mediterranean. Modern museums around the world showcase Etruscan artifacts, highlighting their contributions to human history. Their art, especially their tomb paintings and bronze sculptures, still inspires artists and art lovers today. These works of art provide a glimpse into the daily lives, beliefs, and values of the Etruscan people. The vibrant colors and intricate details of their tomb paintings are particularly admired for their beauty and craftsmanship. Even after all this time, the Etruscans still fascinate us with their mysterious language, their beautiful art, and their influence on Western civilization. Scholars continue to study Etruscan inscriptions in an effort to fully understand their language and its connections to other ancient languages. This ongoing research helps to uncover more about their society and its contributions to the world. They remind us that even lost civilizations can leave behind a legacy that lasts for centuries. The Etruscans, with their rich culture and innovative spirit, have left an indelible mark on history. Their achievements continue to be celebrated and studied, ensuring that their legacy endures for generations to come.